Alright guys, I have not been able to solo the Grandmaster. I did it on both my accounts, so I've done this fight a bunch of times. But kudos to the guys who put out the solos. I'm going to go and try and break this down. Phase 1, you're going to want to gain tokens of competence by either intercepting him right away, and then his SP1 and everything you evade in his minigame. To damage him, to get him to his wounded phase, you have to trigger the SP1 by doing 3 light attacks, 3 parries, 3 dexes. Once you do each of those 3, he's going to gain a bar of power, and then he'll do his special 1. Any extras, and you're going to get a token of blunder. And depending on which node you take out, too many tokens, I think it's 5 token of blunders here, he automatically goes to special 3, and the fight is over. So here I'm going for some intercepts at the beginning. Then I'm going to go ahead and there's my parry gets banned. There's my light attacks are banned. Now I just have to evade a few times, 1 twice. There we go. Dex is banned. Now he throws a beam, kind of like an Iron Man beam, and then the mini game goes up and you have 3 prompts. You have an evade is green, block is blue, and get hit is red. And so you see, once I did that, he went wounded. I can do a bunch of damage to him. Now that he's not, now that again we're still in phase 1, so I'm going to go ahead, do some intercepts again. Then once I, sometimes I'm really not that great at getting the intercepts in. Sometimes I would literally just go in with a like a strong champion, like an Aegon or a Doom, or you could take Hercules now, someone who's ramped up, and you don't even have to do the intercepts at the beginning. You could literally, you're just going to be doing so much damage in the wounded phase with someone who hits really hard. So you don't necessarily have to do the intercepts, but it's definitely really good to try and blitz phase 1 as much as possible by putting on those token of competence. So again, I'm going to go ahead and try and grab a bunch of intercepts, but you see I got too many blunders there. I'm up to like 3 blunders because I hit too many times into him, too many light attacks after the light attacks were already banned. So then green, I'm going to evade, get hit on the red, and then blue. It's going to go from left to right. And now he's wounded again with that light pink or purple timer, and I can go in, and now phase 1 is done. In between phases, he's going to get an orange charger right there, and he's unblockable, so you don't want to get hit or block him during that phase. Now we move into phase 2. You're going to gain your tokens of competence by completing prompts and by baiting the SP1 and doing the mini game again. And you need to complete, to get him into that wounded phase, you need to complete 5 prompts. And again, missing a prompt is going to result in a blunder. So let's take a look at the prompts that are going to pop up. You're going to have either whiff an attack, where you back off and just miss him, intercept him, gain a buff, so you can always dex to gain a buff, inflict a damaging effect, and a critical hit. Damaging effect is someone you want. Someone like Doom always puts on shocks. In this case, I got Kingpin, who can his special 1 can put on a degen. So you need someone who can do all the prompts. So with attack, I'm going to back off, just throw like a light attack when he's not there, and that's with an attack. Now, I'm not sure if I can if I can read which one comes up next. I think I missed one of them in here, but I do get a second prompt. It might have been a critical hit. So again, bait those special 1s throughout the whole time. You do not want to push them to a special 2. A special 2, technically, I think you could block it, but it's pretty awful. So there was an intercept. We were able to get that one off, gain a buff. We're just going to dash back. After this, we can get a dex, or even there, I got it with his unstoppable on his heavy. And again, there we're going to evade, and then if it get hit is the 3rd one, you can dash right back in, right into him and attack him if you see it. So evade, block, evade. And then we're going to get off a special 1 to get a damaging effect, and that should wound him. Now we can get in a whole bunch of damage. You can see those heavies are doing like 260, 270,000. So you can imagine if you've got like a ramped up Aegon, you do like full combos and you're getting huge damage. So now again, we're still in the phase 2 for a little while. This was probably one of my best starts to this fight that I've ever had. To be honest, this is one of my best ones. very clean up until this point. Then I do get a little messy at one point, and we're going to skip ahead to a better run later on, because phase 2 can go on for a little bit of time here. And again, going in with a champion that is like ramped up, like a ramped up Aegon, someone who can again increase their damage, someone like a Professor X, Hercules, Corvus, lots of champions who are doing massive damage. That's who you want to bring in. And again, depending on which path you take in this chapter, you're going to either have different amounts of competence. Some areas you won't be able to gain as much power. There's going to be some differences that you have to, like a little bit of nuances. I can't remember what all of them are, but this was like the easy path, the one that has like that has Phoenix right before the boss, and that one's not too bad. I think it has an Annihilus, but that one it's not such a terrible path, and the nodes aren't too bad here. So then you can see I screwed up. I get too many tokens of blunder. I get to 5. He goes to 3 bars of power, and he'll drop his special 3. I'm just going to quit out at this point. But that was a really good run for me. I've never come close to soloing this guy. So maybe one or two revives later, we're going to get another decent run in here with Kingpin. So again, same thing in this phase 2. So perform an intercept. There we get, and you can see challenge successful, and there you get your token of competence. And again, whiff an attack, but you also have to keep tabs of, you're basically looking at the prompts while you continue to evade his special 1. So there I got the whiff attack in. Again, damaging effect from the special 1. So again, if you don't have someone that can do that, like even Aegon, if you don't have someone who can do a damaging effect, then you can go ahead and finish that prompt. It'll still count towards the prompts that you need to finish, but you'll have a token of blunder, so you won't necessarily be hitting as hard. So there we complete the prompts again, get some decent damage in. But this fight definitely, depending on, like, this is not the ideal counter, but this is someone who definitely does work. You can see the special 2. If you block it, you can survive it. But again, I did not do such a great job in this one. I got to get myself out of the corner here. I am still, with Kingpin, able to get a little bit of willpower healing in, but we're almost done with this second phase. But again, it's just repeating the same thing over and over. The more tokens of competence you can get, the more damage you're going to do during the wounded phase. And again, having those tokens of blunder is just making it that much longer. But it is definitely something to get used to in terms of his just getting used to baiting his special 1 over and over again. And then soon we're going to get to phase 3, which is very similar, except that he eventually goes into reverse controls, and that's where bringing in someone who has immunity to reverse controls is probably going to be extremely helpful. So we're just going to skip ahead here. I ended up bringing in America Chavez just to do the just to get over the hump to phase 3 here. So again, go ahead. I think I had done an attempt that I failed in the first section, which is why I've got a bunch of token of competence that's still built up. But that's fine. We're going to go ahead, get into the damage phase. Now we're into phase 3. I'm going to get killed right away because I screwed up right there to get that orange timer goes up and he was unblockable. But it's fine. Now we're into phase 3. Now I'm bringing in the Overseer, who has a synergy with other Hulks in order to be immune to reverse controls. Now the prompts in here are well-timed block, strike my block, backdash, knock me down, and stand still. Each of them now has a nice unique prompt above Grandmaster that when it first came out wasn't very clear. Now if you see well-timed block, you'll know how many parries you have left. Strike my block, you'll know how many times you have to hit into him. Backdash, you'll know how many times left you have to dash back. Knock me down to straight forward, and stand still, there's a little timer of when you're standing idle, it goes away. So here I brought in the Overseer, so now I can play this fight or if you, completely without worrying about the timer. There's a timer above me in gray, and when you don't have someone who's immune to reverse controls, you have to get all the prompts down and get him wounded and keep an eye on that timer, because eventually playing the Grandmaster in reverse controls, trying to get these prompts off is not a lot of fun. Especially the evading his special one like that in reverse control. So there I was a little up against the wall. I took a blunder there. But you can see backdash on top. So I can see 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I dash back really quick. And that one's finished. I evade the special one in the meantime, building up those tokens of competence. There's a block, evade, I can dash in. It says knock me down, so I'm always going to hold on to a special, ideally, in this phase, so that I can knock him down. There are some paths where you're not going to be able to gain power, and then someone like Doom with a mid-combo stun is going to be really helpful here. There we got all the prompts down. I didn't have to worry about reverse controls at all. He's completely immune to reverse controls here, which is why someone like Professor X is really good. So it's that's the type of stuff that you want to think about for phase 3. If you can find someone who has reverse immunity to reverse controls, it's really great. And again, if you're using someone like an Aegon or a Hercules or something that, again, someone who's ramped up, and again, there are guys, you can find solos of the Grandmaster that the best players in the game have put out, and they fly through this stuff like it's nothing. It is a bit of RNG based, because depending on what you get, if you never get knock me down, you get a whole bunch of dash backs, then that's great. You do it really quickly. Sometimes you can get strike my block, but he doesn't want to turtle up. Sometimes you get knock me down, and you don't have a special ready, right? It's a little bit of RNG based, but it's really not like but again, knowing what happens in this fight and really just getting used to that special one evade, and once you know what's going on, then it's not that terrible. I hadn't done this fight in forever. I did use a couple revives that I had that were gonna go into that were gonna expire anyways. But you see, now that we can go, and it's pretty easy to farm some revives in like Act 3.2.6, have a couple revives ready, if maybe some potions. But if you have a decent roster and you have the right champions and you know what's going on, you can see there I got clipped by that special too, but it's really not that bad. And then here I just skipped ahead, and once you finish that third phase, and again, you're going to have a little bit of an unblockable period between 3 and 4. Once he gets to the fourth phase, he's going to be unstoppable, and the only way to remove the unstoppable is by intercepting him. You either back away and wait for the timer to go, or you intercept him a few times to get rid of the unstoppable. You just have to dance around that unstoppable, either by intercepting or backing off for a few seconds for the timer to go, and then he'll be wounded, and then you can hit into him a million times if you'd like to waste your time, but you can just throw a special 3 and then the fight is over. But so again, it's a very interesting fight, very cool with the mini games. I definitely enjoy that part of it, but the stress of doing this one without someone with immunity to reverse controls can really drive you nuts in this phase 3 here. But I hope this helped, and I hope this helped clarify what's going on in this fight. And good luck. I'm glad I could finally get this fight up on my channel. I know it's not the greatest, it's not a solo, but at least I tried to break down the different phases that you'll see in this fight, and hopefully that's helpful for you guys. So I think here we finally get him in between the third and fourth phase here. So you can see he's got the that the yellow unstoppable, you got to intercept him, but you just got to kill some time until that orange timer disappears. Now he's wounded, and the fight is over. All right, guys, I hope this one helped you out, and we'll see you in the next one.